Welcome back to a Windy City They Tan Watch, the channel where truth meets freedom, right here in the heart of Chicago. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with our latest investigations, interviews, and insights. Your support fuels our fight for freedom and truth. So, let's dive into today's journey, armed with knowledge and the relentless spirit of the Windy City.
WindyCityThetanWatch here in Los Gatos, so at the Church of Scientology Los Gatos. It's 650 Saratoga Avenue, Saratoga Road, Saratoga something, between Blackford Avenue and Moore Park Avenue. It's a little after 6. I just did kind of a stealth one because I've walked through the parking lot and I've kind of done a shot of everything, so I just published another live on there. Let's see. I don't know what or how this church acts. Right? I don't know if people walk in. My understanding is California is a driving culture. So we'll just see if we've got anything of interest here tonight. This is in a, it's in a little complex. There's 3 buildings in here. It looks like Scientology occupies an entire building. And then there are 2 other buildings, which, I don't know, there are various other businesses. Now, they might be wise businesses, so they might be Scientology consulted businesses. But here we can see, right, Church of Scientology 650. On the side of us, you see the stairwell, and that stairwell, I don't know if it goes up to course rooms or if it goes up to residences. Again, no idea what level organization this is. I just thought that, hey, while I'm out here, why not get some? Oh, there's somebody upstairs. I saw them moving. I don't know if you can see, there's an open window up there, and somebody's moving around up there. So there's some activity. The other thing that's kind of interesting is there's a light or a sign or something, you know, the Scientology with the 2 triangles on it in that window. It was funny, when I did the walk around stealthily, I walked past the opening, and when I walked past the opening, the door was open. And as I walked by again, they quickly closed the door. So I was able to do door tech in sunny California here. Yeah, ain't that the truth? It's beautiful out here. It's actually, the sun is somewhat bothersome, right? I mean, it's very, very bright, and it looks like I've got still a couple. I would guess I've got 2 hours of sunlight still going here. 6 o'clock here, so I don't know what the activities of this particular one is. If anybody can look up Scientology Los Gatos or can figure out what class level this is, I'm guessing it's a 5. When I went to the door, it did look like it said testing center on the door. And for those of you just joining, there's probably a 3-minute stealth video I did beforehand. I didn't want to really alert them to the fact that I was here before I went on their property. I kind of did a walk around of their property. As I said before, right, there's 3 buildings. So the one straight ahead of me, that is the Scientology building. This one is just various other businesses. And the one down here seems to be various other businesses as well. Absolutely would not be surprised if some of these happen to be under the WISE umbrella. So, you know, if they're businesses that are, right, one's a dentist. Westspire Academy, you know, is that going to be some form of Delphi? Absolute Senior Solutions and Duperly Wright, psychotherapist. That one probably is not a Scientology venture. I'm going to go ahead and walk through the parking lot. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't know if this organization knows that protests exist, right? Because Scientology Central Org doesn't really. Here's somebody getting out of a car. Scientology doesn't really broadcast the idea that they're being protested. They're only alerting the organizations that actually have been protested. So I'm going to back up just a little bit. Yeah, this probably is Scientology. I'll say that there was a white car and a white van. The person that's getting the passenger seat of the white van got out of the white car. So that might be both. Nice. And if my Spanish is correct, Los Gatos, the cat, in this process. I would agree with that. They do look quite depressed. They're old, stucco, divided light windows. I'm sure these are 60s or 70s buildings. Again, another little unique element of this is that, so they definitely went into the Scientology building. There is a back door here. See, so that hopefully you saw the guy in the green shirt walk in. So it's a populated organization. I'll go over to the other side again. And it's interesting, one of the cars, thank you, Martha. One of the cars, so there's two parking lots. They seem to be a little bit separated from one another. So we did see people walked in this one, and this would be the more public or common to all buildings parking lot. And then there's another parking lot that backs up to the, was it Laser Eye Center or the something Eye Center? It might be the Laser Eye Center of Silicon Valley, is right next door. There's a high hedgerow between the Laser Center's parking lot and the Scientology parking lot. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on here. Hey, they have an open house here, and all welcome. So they're saving on lettering. So it's not that all are welcome, it's just all welcome. And you can do your shopping here. Here is their sign with the 8-pointed cross. And you can see on the left, right, the Scientology Dianetics Communication Foundation, or Dianetics Foundation, is the 4-bar pyramid. And on the right, the 2 triangles, Scientology. Just a reminder, when I came through the first time, their front door was open. When they saw me come by, they immediately closed it. So my SP powers are good enough for door tech here in California. Notice the little emblem on the back of the car there? So they very quickly closed this door. And that is the test center. There are 3 people at that desk. And here is the backside of the parking lot, another stairway up. You can see upstairs, there's light. Hey, Ellie. You can see upstairs, there's light, so there's activity going on there. We've already seen 2 people walk in. I would say Publix because they were in t-shirts, just civilians. A woman and a man. He was in a green t-shirt. She was in a multicolored tights and another t-shirt. The sign up there says welcome as well. And then we see in stucco the Scientology emblem with the 2 triangles and the Hubbard pyramid with the 4 bars. As I've said before, it's highly likely that California being such a car society, that people don't walk here, people drive here. So not sure if this will be at all eventful, but it will be here. So here we see somebody walking out of the Church of Scientology. We see 2 people walking out of the Church of Scientology. So one is a staff member. The other one is, and they've got their eye on me. Okay, I appreciate that. And thank you, Martha. And they can come and try and give me a hard time. I've done no violations. I'm reporting to you on stuff that I'm seeing here in the city of Los Gatos. Across the street's a strip mall. Beautiful view of the mountains. So I think I'm looking south. I'm not positive, though. Let's see here. That's the western sun. And if that's west, yeah, I'm looking south. Bus stop here. So the bus stop might be interesting. I don't know if people then, similar to Chicago or other urban areas, LA, would they travel by bus? Now I know that they don't travel by public bus in LA, but oh yeah, there's plenty. So now it's strange, they're not pivoted correctly, but we'll take a view here. And I don't want to change the cameras because I feel like that's challenging when you guys are watching the video that I keep on changing the view. But if you look at the corner of this building, you can see the two white cameras with the dome, but there's also right on the corner a directional camera. It's got the long body pointing to the left right now and down. Hey, Jules. Oh yeah, they're sneaky in everything they do. When I first arrived, there's the white van there, and on the other side of that is another white car. Those are the two vehicles that the people got out of when I arrived. I did do a video on another video. I did it private, and then I just marked it public before I came live here. So there's probably a 3 to 5 minute video on the another 3 to 5 minute video here where I walked around. Although you wouldn't see much more than what I saw here, except you'll see that there was a door open when I walked by the first time, and then they closed it when I walked by the second time. I don't think that this is a place where protesting or trying to camp out and ask questions would have any value for the most part, right? I don't think that we're going to see people walk up here. Hello, Carrie. Very nice. Hey, Lisa, do you happen to know what category this is? Is it a level 5 organization? And there are several other organizations, but they all have mission in that. Well, they don't all. The other ones that I saw had mission in it. There's a 7 Springs or 7 Creeks, something of that nature. Hey, Rika, how you doing? Yeah. Will do. Is that Cookie Monster? That's... Oh, it's work. I'm here for work. We did scout out, and I didn't keep track of the names of the other ones, but there's something Springs or something Creek. Maybe it's Spring Creek or something Creek. It has the word mission in it, and it was also recessed off of the main road. It looked like it was in an industrial park, the way that it looked. Everybody in chat better be doing awesome. I'm gonna walk down the street here and come up on the other side. I've been sitting all day, getting myself educated. It is really, really beautiful out here today. It's probably low 70s. Um, everything here is Spanish tiled, which is expected. The Spanish mission style. We just walked past another medical and dental plaza, so highly likely that those are wise regulated businesses right across the street. Junipero Serra Medical Center. Yeah, what are the cheap towns in California? Looks like I could have cut through that parking lot if I wanted to. Yeah, so most of what it looks like this is all 1- and 2-story small businesses. I am looking at the signs entering the parking lots. None of them say anything about trespassing. They all say that you can't park a car here if you're not supposed to. Fortunately, I do not have a car with me. Lisa, you're a genius. I am from Chicago, and I typically am out there at the org on 650 South Clark, the new Ideal org that just opened up. And every once in a while, I'll see some of my friends like Trashy V12 BMW and Severe Reality Adjustment. I know they were out there last night or yesterday in the rain. Kudos to them. It looked miserable, but they were there. And Shannon over at Chicago Scientology Audit. And Nancy at Nance Drew, Nance Drew. Yeah, they are probably private, but they're not marked as private here. Let's see, I apologize. They're not marked no trespassing. They are marked such that if I had a vehicle, right, so I'll look at one real quick, right? Unauthorized vehicles might be towed, and then parking is restricted 24 hours a day on there. Parking restricted. This one does say no trespassing. This is not the Scientology building, but if you look at the bottom of that one, there is a no trespassing notice. Something that confuses the daylights out of me is that, so this one says Santa Clara County, that I'm staying in Santa Clara. I feel like I'm in San Jose. I flew into San Jose. Then you've got Mountain View. Are these all cities or are they all neighborhoods? It's just odd that there's 2 billion different city names over here. Hey, Corn, how you doing? Howdy. Corn is also somebody who comes out and joins us in Chicago. Sometimes with camera, sometimes with not. And then you've got Juanita, clearing Clearwater. Oh, it looks like there's an interstate to my left. So over that wall is some form of an interstate. Ahead of me is somebody who decided to park. Gotcha. Yeah, so I grew up in rural areas where, you're right, the city was a subset of the county, and if you did something wrong in the city and the city had enough money, they had their own police force. Otherwise, the county would come in, and if you were outside of city limits, then it'd also be county. If you're just joining, Before I did this live, I did a kind of a stealth live. I did a private live, so it wouldn't have shown up in notifications or anything like that. And just before I started this live, I made that public. And if you look there, I was up on the patios looking at the cafe sign. I was closer to the door. You'll see that the door was open when I first got there. And then as I walked past it the second time, they came out and closed it. So I feel I'm undefeated in closing either blinds or doors every time I visit. And the other thing that's a bit fun right now, hey buddy, another thing that's a bit fun right now is it's very warm out here. I unfortunately have one of my clients' shirts on, and so I can't go in my t-shirt. I am again today. I'm going to see if I can turn this around. I am again today the guy in the red jacket. I love that. Nice. Very funny. Yes. Now we need Michael Buffer to come in. If you're just joining the channel, or if this is a first time that you're seeing me, I do several things on the channel. One is I do go to the org and I protest or audit. So my goal is not to pull people out of Scientology. I don't think I'm equipped to do that. It's not something that I think would be an easy task. They are true believers, and it's the reason they call them religious battles is because you're really not going to talk the other person into what they believe or don't believe. But I do feel that I can help prevent them getting new people into the org. So I will inform people that are walking in about what the tactics and practices of the organization are. I will bring signs out there, show them the crimes of the organization. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I did hear that once, and it was like, okay, that's funny. Oops. I'm terrible with the pointing. When I walk, I shouldn't touch the phone. So yeah, I think that's very funny. Now again, I'm very disappointed by that because I'm an American and we beat the British. So getting back to what I was saying is that I'm trying to inform the people of what the tactics of this church are, what it will be like on their early days, right? They're going to give you a personality test. That personality test is going to show some flaw in your behaviors or mannerisms, and they're going to have a solution, and you'll buy a book. And then they'll find another flaw, and you'll buy a book. And then they'll start stripping your identity, and they'll start showing that you belong to the group, and you'll feel like you belong to the group, and that you can't exist outside of the group. It's very like what I would say domestic violence is, where whoever the offending party is will love bomb you and then crush you, and then love bomb you and crush you, to the point where you think they're the only one that can make you feel validated. And then it's going to start costing money, or it's going to start costing your time. They will put you in financial ruin, whether that is they will take all of your money, or whether or not they will create fraudulent credit card accounts on your behalf and spend down and ruin your wealth. Absolutely correct. And the idea that there is no future if there is no new blood, right? All of these people will leave their body at some point in time. Oops. Oh yeah, the puffy jacket is warm. I just don't feel comfortable taking it off because I don't need any of my clients' information to be associated with Scientology or any terroristic type acts that the church will employ. The other thing that I do at the organization is they will pass out flyers, and if I can find the person passing out the flyers, I will follow them, and every time they pass out a flyer, I'll just let the person that they pass it out to know exactly what's going on. The flyers are very innocuous. Come in for a free personality test. And it's also false advertising, right? Because there's no indication that it's Dianetics and that it's Scientology on that particular element. Hey, Severe, how you doing? Have you dried out from yesterday yet? It looked wet and squishy all day there. And probably cold. This is the one in California. Oh, I can't see him now. I just saw him over here though. We went past the palm trees earlier. So. Yeah, we're not seeing any palm trees over there, but there were palm trees on whatever that road was, Moore Park, I think. Here we're seeing a bunch of tall pines, but I am in California. The other thing I will do is interviews. So there have been some under the radars who have contacted me, and we've had some conversations. And I will bring their stories to you on their time frames and on their comfort levels. So the one thing I'll ask is, hey, everybody be patient. There will be questions that we'll ask, and they should have every right and feel very comfortable not to have to answer those questions. Some of them being, if they're under the radar, they're not coming on as an interview, but they're going to give me some information. And then there are some X's, but they don't want to really be declared because, right, then they're going to have to disconnect. So. Yeah, that one might be more like a mission. I'm not positive. And then the other thing I do is I kind of look for news that I see about Chicago. For instance, if you look on the channel, you're going to see that I found the congratulations letter from 2005. 2005 is just after David Miscavige decided he wanted to build ideal orgs because that was what was going to solve the church's problems. It was also going to bankrupt all of their public members. Oops. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was reading this. I shouldn't read that. Sorry. And in 2005, all of the Chicago publics got together and they raised money. And they raised a lot of money. The top donors were putting in $100,000 a piece. And then all the way down to, there were probably 100, 150 people on that list. And all the way down to like $500. Thank you, Jules. The church is on Saratoga between Moore Park and this is Blackford. This is Blackford. Oops. Let me go back over there. Yeah, so we're in, so I feel like San Jose is a bigger area. And I was in San Jose earlier today. I don't know if I'm in Santa Clara, San Jose, Los Gatos, Mountain View, Larry's other little town in California. Fred made up a name to make a city in California. But the other one that I had done is I've done some drone footage of the old organization and the new organization. And there's some video footage of the old organization after Scientology left and with its garbage bags piled up inside and looking like crap. Oops. Remind me to hide comments. Darn kids. Yeah, her and I talked about that. I think it was on Sunday, talked about it. And she thinks mine might be faster, but again, regardless, we're winning, Scientology is losing. And the other element of the channel is that every time that I'm seeing police activity, I am making FOIA requests, and my goal is to get the body camera of the conversations that are going on inside the org. I will tell you that I had a comment yesterday that said, hey, why are you trying to be a frauditor, and why are you being so aggressive asking cops for their name and badge number? I'm going to say for a couple of reasons. And the person said that I have no right to know what's going on inside the organization. That is an absolutely false statement. If a public officer is doing a public duty, I 100% have every right to know what that public duty is. So my requesting a camera of the conversation that goes on behind closed doors is 100% valid, especially since the interaction started on the street and then moved indoors. This is an organization that will lie, cheat, and steal, and we know that the police both here in Chicago and in California have miraculously lost footage or not. Oops, I forgot to turn my camera on. All kinds of fun stuff there. But I want everybody to know that public officers doing public duties is 100% why the FOIA exists. And it's why the First Amendment rights and the Supreme Court has said we have every right to film and record public officials in their public duties. There is a time, place, and manner. So I can't go into the police station after hours. How you doing, little dancer? Nice. And I also do it for my own safety, right? That we know that I was notified that the police were coming and potentially for me. At that point, I didn't know what the threat was. It turned out the threat was an armed robbery with hostages in that space. So yeah, I'm going to ask for footage in those situations. I'm going to ask for the conversation. I want the police to be held accountable, and I want the police to understand that they need to find out who's making these false calls. Someday the police are going to come. They're going to have had a bad day. They're going to get spooked by something, and somebody's going to get hurt. And that's not right. Absolutely, Princess, that's correct. And there's also the idea of you can't get professional auditing, you can't be trained on professional auditing there at the mission. You can only go up to a certain level. I don't know that you can go beyond clear at a mission. But yeah, they are a franchise. And if you watch Tori Magoo, 44, she's talked about the idea that back in the day, L. Ron Hubbard loved them because it was a freeway. You know, he wasn't buying houses. He wasn't paying for any of the materials. He would make the people who were running the mission buy the materials from him. So it was just a great money-making opportunity for them. And in the old days, it felt like you went into somebody's living room and you talked about Scientology and you decided after a while that, well, you know, we should start an org here. This is a great thing. David Miscavige kind of put a poo-poo on all of the missions. I'm not sure that they're all closed, but I know that he made it much harder. And also, Scientology lost a lot of luster, right? In the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was this neat thing that stars do, and it was well propagandized, and we didn't know. It was easier to be secret back then. There was no internet. They could spend money to target the media to write stories back in that day. Yeah, David Miscavige. Absolutely correct. Yeah, I think this one is a full org. So Michael, what I did is I came early. This is interesting. The guy in the brown jacket, although he might get in a car. Let me walk down the street here because he looked to have had a book, and he is walking from the Scientology building. Let me see where he heads off to. Over the door, it says it's a testing center, and it's got all are welcome and open house signage everywhere. In the first video, and again, I did it stealthily because I didn't want to alert them that I was coming. They had the door open, and shortly after I walked past, they closed the door. All right, so the guy in the brown coat got in that, I'm guessing it's a Jeep, but that white SUV up here. I'm gonna kind of just stand over here on the curb. Obviously a public, that's not a altogether cheap vehicle. Hard to believe a Sea Org or a staff member would be able to own that. And also he came out in civvies, he wasn't dressed in anything. I'm gonna walk on the sidewalk of one of the buildings that is not Scientology. Very possible, and like I said, I think that they do. You even noted that they're probably watching my stream, so I didn't want them to know beforehand. But so I came on here and I did a private video first, and I've made it public since. But you'll see that I'm a little bit closer to some of the signs and doors in that video. As we walk to the end of the sidewalk, we're going to see a little like sitting area. When I first pulled up, there were people in that white van. Well, you can't see it right now, but there were people in a white van, and they came over and they walked in that door that's in the corner, right? And then you've got the sign that's got the cafe here. And if you were on Google Streets or whatever, when you dropped the little yellow guy on Google Maps, you would be able to see that this sign was there. The door has the word foundation entrance, and then this other one that's over the window, I can't remember what it said, but if we go back to the other video, we'll be able to check that. And again, here we see a large camera. So, hey Bridge, we are in Los Gatos, California, San Jose. I love this. The address is the same as Chicago. It's 650, but it's 650 Saratoga instead of 650 South Clark. Thank you, Big Mike. Oh, going back to this, I just didn't want to give them the opportunity to see me on here before I was able to take the videos. They came out and they watched me already. Yeah, thanks, Jules. They did come out and they watched me. You know what? I'm going to walk through here. I haven't been TP'd yet, but we'll see. So I'm in the parking area. I'm not on their property. And again, it's not their property. This is a strip mall. Maybe they own the strip mall, but so let's see. This says recreation. Is that what it says? Recreation and Foundation Center. Is that what it says over the door? And then Public Information Center, Test and Film Room. And then the cafe. When I first got here, two, what I would imagine are publics walked in. They came out of this white car and the white van. We are on what I would imagine is the back side of the org. When we go to the other side, I'll take a quick walk around here. This is just not a good protesting location because I think that all the traffic that comes here is likely car traffic, and my understanding is California's a car society anyhow. So I don't think people walk to this location. It also, as was mentioned earlier, this is a fairly affluent area. So folks who are spending $100,000 to go clear probably don't have to take the bus or walk to Scientology. But here we see, oh, they did close a window. So earlier, not the window above this Scientology sign, but just over to the left of it, that was open, and there was a little Scientology emblem. So again, they're watching this video because of these three windows, right? So you've got the one window, three windows, three windows. So that first set of three windows, the right-hand side lower half was open. It is no longer open. I saw motion from the beginning, and I would guess that I've seen 10 different people since I've been here, whether they were walking out or walking in or walking upstairs. Sorry, somebody kind of did a short break behind me. And here we see the 650 address. Oh, sorry, you can't see it because of my shadow. So the 650 address, and then the Church of Scientology, open house, all welcome. As we walk down here, now this is strange because I thought that person walked out, but this white car has a little sticker on the back of their car that's got the Scientology with the 2 triangles. And I will show you the door that used to be open and is no longer open. So if you look at the back of this car, right, you can see the little Scientology emblem there. And then, and I got blind tech, batting 1,000. So those 3 blinds were open earlier. The door on the right was open earlier. I saw 3 or 4 people around the desk. A small, a thinner, older gentleman with an English cap came out when the last time I saw somebody leave here, and they definitely put eyes on me. Yeah, that did amaze me as well. But the one thing I want to remind people, and we talked a lot about this on Sunday, that the people who are watching and producing and creating Scientology videos, we're kind of in an echo chamber. We know very well that this is a corrupt, vicious organization that is accused and convicted of many crimes, right? Financial frauds, family separation, not a crime, just unethical. Child abuse, child SA in general, hiding information from the police or refusing to come forward on police matters. The elder abuse. Hey, if we can make sure that there's a mod over there helping out Jessica, that would be great. I don't know if we've got any mods there. I do want to say that as a safety factor, I'm not as concerned about that message, but it's very poor taste to come into a live and drive the audience away to another live. So that's fine if you're going to do it, but hey. Oh, absolutely money laundering, tax evasion. All good, Kat. Some people might not, I don't know that everybody understands that. I understand, Kat. I just wanted to kind of put that out as a reminder. And again, I'm going to say that as a safety mechanism, I'm absolutely fine. Like if the other day when Nance was in trouble, I'm very glad that people were over there, and I'm glad that people were monitoring that stream, and I'm glad that people came over to my stream and said, hey, get out front fast, so that we could make sure that there would be no dangerous elements or big problems. So. Oh, so that's a good call as well. Kat. Florida has a heck of a lot, but it's either going to be Florida or California. Wait, there was another question I had. Oh, so San Jose is up near San Francisco. So I'm hours away from Los Angeles. And Burbank is basically a suburb of Los Angeles. I think it goes Los Angeles, Hollywood, and then you go over the hills to Burbank. Thank you, Mike. or Big Mike. And I do think that it's important to understand that, right, we're journalistic, right? That I am not somebody who hates religion. I'm going to make a statement. I know that a lot of people cringe when I say this, but Lutherans are Christian. People who are in the KKK are also Christian. They just happen to be extreme. And it's extreme religions that I have a big problem with. And this isn't even a religion, but it's 100% extreme, right? I do think that the majority of people that are going to go in through that back door. Yeah, and again, I'll say that what I know about geography is that there is the San Francisco Bay, right, or the bay is there, and if you go to the southern lobe, the very southern extent is where San Jose is, and San Jose is the larger city that's here, and then some of the suburbs are Santa Clara, Mountain View, Los Gatos. I do have a FOIA request in for the video camera of Sergeant Taylor, who was there again. Yeah, this is something that happens a lot, and it's that Scientology dupes them, for lack of a better form, or they target people in those other religions who have maybe fringe influence in those religions, but are looking to gain power. And they'll kind of corrupt those people to say, hey, we're just like every other religions, and this church is protesting us, and we don't like when people, this group is protesting us, and we should all stand together because we don't like that people are protesting churches, right? Religion is free, and we should have religious freedom in America. And I agree with the fact that you should have a religious freedom. A, this isn't a religion, and B, this is a criminal organization. They just commit crimes. So, as I was saying, I do have the FOIA request in. Those usually take 10 or 12 days, and usually they're going to give me some excuse the first time around, so I'm going to have to go file it again. When I get back to the city, I plan to go down to COPA. So COPA is a civilian authority that or a civilian group that has authority, not authority. They have oversight to some degree of the police. Now, they then can either make a recommendation or forward whatever their information is to internal affairs. More often than not, internal affairs is going to say, oh yeah, I saw what the officer did, and that's perfectly good police practice that's going on there. Very possible. But at least then we have a record of the fact that they're redacting information, right? They're free in Chicago. And the other one is you can do them anonymously. So if you were to create an alt email, you can do that as well. I don't, now with video camera, the request is free. I don't know if they would charge for media, but for the most part, they give you two options for delivery. You can get it delivered through snail mail, or you can get it delivered electronically. Yeah, I know several places that are like that, and I feel like that's against the intent of, because it's like the slap law, right? In order to get this gnat off my back, I'm going to charge them, so therefore they'll stop asking me to do these things. And I don't know if there is an element of, if a liberal city falls more one way than a conservative city does. But Chicago has had corruptness forever. that I think that Streets LA kind of waffles back and forth. Hey, Friesino. Chicago kind of Streets LA kind of waffles back and forth on, is Chicago worse than LA? But at any point, they're on the lower tier of police organizations and the highest tier of corrupt organizations. Yeah, I remember that it used to be the cost of goods, right? So if you were getting a paper copy, you could charge somebody a nickel, you could charge somebody a dime, but you couldn't charge them $400. And the labor cost, that you don't get to include the labor cost, that it's a cost of doing business as a public department. The other thing that's interesting, and I have a complaint in with COPA against the desk sergeant that Trashy went and talked to, because Trashy wanted to open a FOIA request. And they said, we don't have FOIA requests. And I'll say that it's probably letter of the law. It might be legal that they say that, because every department in the city of Chicago must have a FOIA officer. So what they might be saying is, in order to do a FOIA request for the police, you've got to go to the headquarters. You can't do it at that station. So, yeah, I think that's a true statement as well. So, sorry, I'm going to get past this guy. I don't want to make him feel bad about cameras. So now we're in front of Los Gatos again. 100%. I want everybody to realize that it can be state to state and it can be city to city. Now, in the state of Illinois, it is the Illinois FOIA Act. So that does cover the entire state. If you have a public department, the public department must have a FOIA lead or contact person. And anybody who wants to come out and protest every once in a while, that be careful that you watch and try and figure out what the laws are. And remember that some laws are gray. We did look up the defacing law in Chicago. And I'm going to say that, again, by the letter of the law, that it says that you have to damage or deface. And I would say that if we tied something onto the pole, we absolutely didn't deface it. You could make the argument that, hey, tape defaces the pole in that process. So there are, I would say that you'll take the ride if you press that. I think you'll take the ride if you press that issue. You'll probably get off. I don't think any judge in his right mind would. And by the way, they do. And was there a call in Chicago today? That's great, Corn. And by the way, most of my interactions with the police in Chicago have been very positive. This Sergeant Taylor, kind of a jackalope, and he didn't offend me the first time. He went after Trashy, and it was kind of a jackalope to Trashy. And then it wasn't until he was coming out that I realized, wait a second, that's Sergeant Taylor again. So he was there the day that we had the call. Yeah, hey there in the Uber. So be careful. Don't take the word of another protester in another location. I wouldn't even say take the word of a protester in your location, because you know how much research do you know they did. So they might have good intent, but that doesn't mean that they're correct in that process. And one of the things that I'm saying is, not saying, you'll notice that, hey, I probably can be on that property. I don't really ever want to have them be able to record that they gave me a trespass. So for the most part, I just try to stay clear of, and I have no need to go into a building. We've seen video of what goes on inside of those buildings. I would definitely appreciate that. I will say that tonight my Uber expenses are much higher than usual on this process. The travel out here and my stay overnight was on the hoof of the client, but I can't charge the client for coming out and auditing the Church of Scientology. And by the way, right now, I know that I've only got Cash App and Venmo, and some people aren't able to do that. But there's no obligation to do it. I'm trying to do this for free. I just want to recycle that money into here so that I can, that it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg to come out here and protest the church. I do have a PayPal coming. The problem was I couldn't figure out a way to get my personally identifiable information off of that account. So I got some help with that. It just takes a couple of days for them to validate it. PayPal will get back to me, and then I'll offer yet another way to help if you can. And again, never feel obliged. It's always appreciated. I'm not looking to become a billionaire off the backs of YouTube donations in this space. I just want to be able to cover my costs and be able to get more materials for the cause. The hotel I'm at has an outdoor hot tub, so or an outdoor pool and tub, so I'm not sure I would do that. If you go to the other, so before I opened up the live, I did a private video so that I could kind of get on the property before giving them any alerts. And you'll notice that I was able to close their door very quickly. And then we noticed a little while ago, I walked back there past the door and we saw that they even closed the blinds. So if we go around this building now, oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm gonna take it back in that this is an eye doctor's laser eye care, I guess. When I first got here, the upstairs in the back, the windows were open and lights were on. I think they're closed. Yeah, they are closed now. There's a lot of trees here, so I don't know you'll be able to see it, but here we'll be able to see through. If you can see through there, there's the one window and then the 4 windows. All of those shades were up when I first got here, and it looked like those were course room locations. So this again is one of those times where the church can only work in the shadows. And they just don't understand the value of retail. If you're going to be on the street, be on the street. If you're going to close all the windows, you might as well be in an industrial park. Hello, Declared Dave. I saw you reading books again. If you get a chance to, and so sometimes Dave's out at the Greater Cincinnati, you know, that organization in Kentucky, at the Greater Cincinnati org. And then on other times, he's got materials that he's found, bought, with Scientology materials, and he'll go over those with you. I think that Pre-Clear was one of them. I can't remember. I think you've done 2 others, and I can't remember what the title of the other 2 are. But as you can see, again, at the corner, you can see that there's the shades are up. When I first got here, the shades were down. You know what? I'm going to switch cams for a second because since I'm going to stay so far away, I think I can do the telephoto. And right now I'm doing the telephoto into the sun. Who here was able to see the eclipse today? I love that I found the video of hot dog guy. So on Sunday, there was an interaction and somebody had kind of approached Nance and was, interface is the best I'll say. So some people jumped over on my stream very quickly and said, hey, let's get out front pretty quickly. And I did. And I kind of positioned myself between the gentleman and Nance. And he was getting all pissy about the fact that, hey, what are you guys taking cameras of everybody, asking questions of everybody? I don't have to answer your questions. You're darn right you don't. And if you don't want to be my camera, don't walk up to it. And I saw him in the alley first. And when I, wait, is there a new person here? Hello, William Horn. How are you doing? The guy was in the alley first. And you could see that I walked past him. And I even moved the camera away from him. And then I approached two Scientologists and asked them the typical question, do you have anything good to say about Scientology? And they did not have anything good to say about Scientology. When he was out front, I finally remembered where I'd seen him before. And I said, aren't you the guy that I bought the package of hot dogs for last week? He goes, no, wait. Oh, yeah, maybe. And oh, wait, where would I get hot dogs? No, you never bought me hot dogs. And just all over the place. You know, he's a homeless person. He was drinking. He might not be in the most mentally fit days of his life. Well, I went home, and on St. Patrick's Day is the day that I bought him the hot dogs, and I still had the receipt from the bodega when I bought him the hot dogs. So I did enjoy that I was able to make a video and literally show receipts on that process. So, but you can see through the video that at no point on St. Patrick's Day or on Saturday, I keep saying Sunday, I was out there Saturday. At no point on Saturday or no point on St. Patrick's Day did we ever approach him. That's awesome. I love that. And so one of the things that I'm, let's see here, proud of, that I thought was very funny, that I enjoyed out of this process was on Saturday, at no point did they raise the blinds. And at some point, they finally none of the members would come in the front door. They would all go to the back door. And since Nance was there, and we had, who else? Darn it. Juanita was there. Sorry. I'm making you guys look at a bush close up. So again, here's the org. Is there an open window at the top of the stairs there? Let's see how well they're watching and if they're going to come and fix that. We saw 12, 15 people in the back alley there. So it's just funny to me that you're a church, you've got the power to save the world, and you're also damn embarrassed that you have to walk in the back door. You can't be on camera, and you can't go through past the front door. So. Howdy. see if we can, now that I've got the telephoto on, it might be easier to read those signs that are out here. %100%. That also is funny. And the idea that they already had a bad act happen, and it's very easy to actually go get a shredder, or they make a bar that you can put over the back of a dumpster. And it's kind of common in the city of Chicago because you pay for pickup of those dumpsters. And many people will put a lock over those dumpsters because they don't want people who aren't them to fill up their dumpster, right? Because you get, depending on how you've worked out your garbage hauling arrangement, that's not a city element. You're hiring a private contractor to do that. This might not work because it's so dark, but now you've got the Recreation and Foundation Center and the Public Information Center Testing and Film Room. Yeah, so it's not like the technology doesn't exist. Ah, the police are here. Howdy. Is that a personal camera? Can I have your name and badge number? That phone that was just had its camera trained on me?
It's a cell phone?
Yep. Is it a personal cell phone? Okay. Can I have your name and badge number?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
We'll write it on a Facebook. Yeah.
That'd be excellent. Thank you.
We'll get out and write it for you.
Thank you.
How you doing today?
Very well.
You just filming?
Yep.
Nothing wrong with filming.
I know.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. You just gotta call out security. You're walking in and out, right? They're saying that this parking lot is part of their private property.
Is the whole parking lot the part of it? And by the way, I'll walk off the property.
Okay.
Do you want to, can you walk on the sidewalk then? Or are you okay if I'm here for now and then I'll walk just?
Yeah, we'll give you
Okay.
a case card. I understand you're not, I don't believe you're doing anything malicious here,
Correct.
right?
Just reporting.
I got you. And that's cool, right? But if this parking lot is part property, which security is telling us it is,
Yep.
Then they do not want you on the property, okay?
I understand that.
So we're just going to give you that verbal warning now, right? But if
Yep.
you do come back, then it's jail. Is that
Fair enough.
understood?
Yep.
Okay. And we'll give you a case card with the name and badge numbers on it with the incident card. That
Appreciate
incident card will be the case in which we were dispatched out here in case you want to use that for any of your whatever.
Yep,
Okay?
makes perfect sense.
Sounds
Thank you.
good?
Yep.
All right.
And can you, I'll verify it, but I don't think the whole parking lot's theirs.
And we don't know that. We're going based off their word,
Correct.
right?
Yep. And I'm going to say that, hey, they owe me $1 billion. So will you get my $1 billion? No,
What do they owe you?
they don't. But I just told you something. So why don't you believe
yeah.
me? Why don't you believe me in this case?
No, I understand.
But thank
We
you guys.
appreciate you being really
I appreciate it.
respectful.
Yep. No problem.
All right.
Thank
Have any
you.
questions for us?
I don't. But I would have said, hey, why are you out here? But you've definitely informed me as to why you're out
If you
here.
want to just, I don't know.
I want to go out to the
probably-
sidewalk right
yeah,
here.
You can probably pull up property records and see what their
Yeah, I'm
property
sure,
line
yeah.
is and all that.
And it might be that they own all of them,
if
just
we
rent the
wanted
other
to
ones
get
out.
really technical, we could go do that right now and see exactly.
I don't need. You don't need the pain, and I don't need the pain.
All right. Any questions?
Take care. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
have a good night.
Take care. Thanks for your service. So now I have my verbal, which is a nothing burger. Let's see here. Oh, on telephoto, that looks like crap, doesn't it? Let me move it over to oh no. Hey, if anybody is an Arxis or a geography nerd, can can you look up property records for, the address is going to be 650 Saratoga. And I'm just curious if they own all of it or not. And by the way, on an ArcSys, you just see where the property is. You wouldn't really see the ownership of the property. And regardless, in this one, I could fully understand it because this is kind of a singular driveway. You can only get into the Scientology building in this driveway. So fair enough. I can buy that. And as Corn said earlier, those cops were very righteous. Yeah, I agree. And again, the property lines tells you one thing, but all that tells you is private versus public. The next one is who's the owner. Now, if they're not the owner and they're only the agent, they probably have agency over the parking lot on the one side, but it's highly unlikely they have agency over the other parking lots that are in there because they are just one business in that spot, and they can't trespass me from, the medical place or the psychiatrist. How about it? They owe us all that. I just always love that. Well, they said. I was like, okay. I said David Miscavige is 12 feet tall, but it turns out he's not. Totally unrelated to anything we're doing. I just hit the light to go across the street. Totally unrelated to this. This morning when I was crossing the street, I hit the button for that, and they give you 45 seconds to get across the street in this town. It's like, oh my goodness. Dave, I don't know if it's ideal or if it's even class 5, but it definitely has a testing center, and it's an org. I do not believe this is a mission. I believe it's an org. I just don't know if it's a class 5 org. It's definitely not an ideal, 100% not an ideal org. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that earlier, but I saw the psychiatrist sign, and it's like, okay, maybe they don't have wise materials for all of the businesses. Gotcha, Dave. So class 5 is the lowest? Mike, I wouldn't say that I'm a First Amendment auditor. I have no desire to do that. I got questioned on this recently that I got a comment from somebody saying, hey, why do you act like a frauditor when the police come up? And there's a good reason that I asked for the name and the badge number. I want to do the FOIA request, and in many situations, I'm alerted to the fact that the police are coming first, so I'm part of the situation where the police are coming, and I want to be able to look up the information and get the call information for them. So no, I'm not a First Amendment auditor. I do understand my rights as a First Amendment, as a citizen with the Constitution in this space. So hopefully that makes sense. Gotcha. Thanks, Linda. And in some of these situations, and by the way, like I normally walk around the city of Chicago. If you guys want to stick around, I'm kind of done protesting. I'm going to kind of close up shop fairly soon. But I kind of just want to walk around, and if you guys want to see this, and we'll chat. One of the things that I think happens in Scientology a lot is that a public might buy the property and then rent it out, or at least that might have been the way that it used to be. But it's very likely that it's not that way anymore because the tax-free structure of owning the real estate is advantageous to the church, and I doubt that it's advantageous to the public Scientologist. Early on, it would have been when the church didn't have enough money to fund these themselves. They would probably lean on wealthy publics to do that work. Nice. I like that. And by the way, I do like First Amendment audits, but I'm going to say that the reason that I get kind of bitchy about like frauditor type stuff, you'll notice that I don't think I'm in any way aggressive. I don't try to provoke the officer into violating me. You will notice that in every contact that I've had with an officer, with the exception of Sergeant Taylor, I have said thank you for your service. I have never furtively approached them. I have walked up to them, or I've stood between them and the door and asked them the simple question, can I have your name and badge number? And I've also asked them for information on it. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to look up this. This won't be in the computer quickly enough. But this has a case number on it. So I wonder if the church has my name, and that would be on the case number. The way that I look at it, like, well, let's say this. Hey, Mexican long hair, how you doing? We are in Los Gatos. I love my Spanish. Es una secta, Los Gatos. But I think I can get by in any Latin nation now. We are in Los Gatos, California. I'm here for work, but decided I would come by the organization. And they did give me a trespass warning. So I was on the property looking at the doors. I did get them to close the door. I did get them to close all their blinds. They went so there were some blinds that I felt like were out of their way, but they closed them all. So, and if you go back, I created a private video just before this, but I turned it public because I did go on the property. I wanted to get close up to it because I actually wanted to avoid getting the trespass warning. But now I have a trespass warning. I won't ever be here again, so it's not a big deal. Hey, Mexican, are you going live tonight? And are you healing? You know what? I'm going to walk through this parking lot. Maybe I'll get on the sidewalk instead of walking through the parking lot. There's, when it goes back to auditors, like Chile, whatever, delete laws, that guy provokes people. I don't like post office audits. Post office audits are, again, you're just trying to provoke somebody and you're looking for a paycheck in those situations. I look at the things like where Streets is much more vocal than I am, and I don't like that he raises his voice so much and he uses language that, you know what, yeah. And when I'm angry, I use that stuff, but yeah, I'm not using that language all the time. Definitely hoping you're starting to heal up. Like that's, to me, that's kind of that frauditor, right? Or the idea that you walk into an obviously private office that left their door open. I think common sense tells you that's a private space. And you shouldn't be there because you are allowed to film public places. So in the lobby of the police department or in the lobby of any, governmental building, yeah, you can record. But just because somebody walked out of the room and forgot to close the door, I would say that common sense might tell you that's a private place. Look, I'm bringing people together who already knew one another. And I'm going to say that my focus will never be, well, that's not a true statement. I don't see my focus ever being First Amendment audits, but I do want to keep the Chicago police in check. I do think that, early on I said, oh, I'll give them a chance. I'll see what they're going to act like. And they're in the pocket of Scientology. So yeah, I do want to go into the police station every once in a while, and I do want to file a complaint, and I do want to have on tape that they won't take the complaint. Yeah. And so you'll notice that on Saturday, we had some signage that was taped up to and tied to a signpost. And there is an ordinance in Chicago that says you can't damage or deface property. It would be hard for me to say that taping something to a signpost is defacing it, especially since we were removing it afterwards. But I can understand how the police would make a stupid, irrational act and say, you know what, I'm going to take you in, and yeah, you're going to spend hours or a night in jail, which actually is wrong because it's only a finable ordinance. It's only a finable violation. It's not supposed to be an arrest. It's not an arrestable offense. So you can't detain or arrest for that particular offense. But I just don't want to take the ride. And even though I know the cop is wrong, I don't care. I'm going to step away from that because I don't want to spend the night in jail. And another one, so Mexican Longhair is out there a lot of times with Jay, and Mexican was all banged up and still came to Jay's defense the day that Jay was attacked by the I don't remember if he was Sea Org or just staff, but the Scientologist definitely assaulted Jay, and Mexican Longhair showed up and was ready to limp as fast as he had to if Jay needed help. Yeah, I see a lot of people doing that. And listen, I do think that governments should have transparency, and our government is built 100% on transparency. Do I think that you should go to South Korea or North Korea and try to do some of the same things? No, absolutely not, right? And I think we saw in Paris, right? Paris has different laws about protesting. A couple of months ago, I was in Japan, and Japan has different laws about filming in public. So always be careful and be aware of what the local ordinances or local, regional, national ordinances are whenever you're going to be out there. What other fun stuff do we have to talk about tonight? Something correct, but I think I think that's a win because the threat of arrest is an actionable offense, which I very much understand why people say, if I don't take that sign down, what will you do? And when the officer says, I'll arrest you, well, that's just as good as him arresting you. And now you can, if you wanted to, you could file a civil lawsuit or definitely lodge a complaint that you were threatened with detention for a non-detainable offense as well, which I didn't know at the time it was a non-detainable offense. Yeah, I'm going to butcher this, but right, every right that you choose not to defend is a right you'll lose. Now you can tell I'm not in Chicago because we don't have that many palm trees in Chicago. Absolutely correct. Right. Yeah. If somebody's identifiable, they can. It's not a criminal offense, but it is a civil defense, and I don't know how they classify those two different things, but it would be what we would consider a civil defense or a civil infraction. Now that's starting to change a little bit because, like, if you're in Osaka at the tower that they built after World War II, the big radio tower, it's kind of like an iconic, everybody takes a picture there. So if you're in that area, you're going to be on film, and it's sort of like, get used to it. But in most places, like walking down the streets of Tokyo, Tokyo is a much more formal place than Osaka is. There's a high likelihood you're going to get in trouble. We all need a vacation. I would love that. One thing, so first of all, I want to see if there's any other lives out there that we can go raid. So if the mods could do a quick check on that. The other one I want to tell everybody is that Tori Magoo, she does a Magoo after midnight or Magoo at midnight, but somewhere between 10:30 and midnight, West Coast or Pacific time, she always does a show. And they're the most she's got some of the most incredible knowledge and the fun stories, and I just love her attitude and her behavior. She's a riot. So if you ever get a chance to, it's Tori Magoo, Tori with a Y, Tori Magoo 44. Yeah, there's definitely an overlap there. Howdy, Patrick. I have good news and bad news. I'm trying to find another live to go raid. We've been on for about an hour and a half. We were at the Church of Scientology Los Gatos. Is the S what makes it plural? So is it Los Gato would be just a cat? The fun news was I was able to get them to close the doors. I got them to shut every blind, but they did make a police call, and I have a trespass warning, so that the next time I'm over there, I get an arrest. The good news is, no need to be over there again. All right, the sun has just gone down. I think, have we found any chance to raid? Is there anybody, Chicago, Denver? Where's Selfless? I don't know if Selfless is out today. What is today? Today's Monday. Oh, everybody's blind from looking up at the sun today, aren't they? Did anybody see the sun today, or not see the sun today? Yeah, you know, that's another one. Bridge has a new channel too, and not sure where you are on the subscription spectrum yet, but if you get a chance to, head over to Bridge's channel and get her some subscriptions so that she can start going live. And for now, I will say, mods, your choice. So, or, you know, folks who are in the chat, it's your choice. If you want to go see Jessica, it looks like there's some action going on over there. Or if you want to head over to Pearl Snappy, Eric Levi, Zachary Ellison. Go show some love. All right, I'm going to shut down for now, and I will see you when I get back to the Windy City. Thank you, everybody.